Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how to set up this QMD file. QMD stands for Quarto Markdown file. And I'm just going to show you how to set up the very top part. Um, you're going to need, so ideally, yeah, this is sufficient to produce output. It's just not going to be very attractive output at all. So some stuff you might want to do, you might want to have a subtitle. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to give it a title and a subtitle. Um, and then you might, so you're probably going to want to put in an author. Uh, and so for me, I have a pretty complicated one, but you don't really need one quite this complicated. Um, you can get away with name. I'm going to actually make sure you can get away with this before I tell you you can. So first thing I'm going to do actually is just make sure this is going to work and see what it produces. So don't worry too much about what I just did. But okay, so I gave it the title, I gave it the subtitle, I put in my name, uh, and I left the format as HTML, and you can see this is pretty basic. So some of the other stuff you might want to put in your email, or if you want to put in a website, you can do that. So in order to do that, I'm going to see what happens if I just do it like this. I have a little bit different layout on mine, so I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen here, so I'm going to check it. Yeah, so if you do that, then it produces this email thing here. The URL actually puts the URL under your name, so that's fine. You can do. I will save this, and you can go to my GitHub repository where I did this, and you can get all of this stuff. And I'll put a link in the class in the modules. So you can copy some of this other stuff if you want to. I put in a license in mine. You don't have to do that by any means, but I put in a license. I put in a license and I put in a copyright, and my license is basically giveaway. But I want to make sure that anybody who does use it uh, follows my license, and so putting in the copyright statement is just an extra thing. So anyway, then the extra things you can do are like this. So with the format HTML, that's the sort of base, right? But if you want to do more than that, then you can do this. You can add a theme, and adding a theme won't do much to the basic one. These themes are going to be from are going to be listed in the Quarto website that I gave you a link to. So you can go check those out if you want to pick a different theme. Self-contained, you're going to want to say true. What that's going to do is all of your graphics will actually get baked into this HTML file, so you won't have to provide the graphics as a separate file. They'll all be included. Code fold, I'm going to put true. I think you should put code fold true for yours. You don't need to worry about the logo or footer. So you're going to want that. You're probably also going to want a DOCX, and for it, all you really need is just DOCX. And you may or may not want table of contents. So if I publish this, it's not going to look a whole lot different from what I already had. But these are sort of the basic things you want to have. It does give the license down here. So you're set up with that now. I'm going to save this as example YAML. So this whole thing up here is called the YAML, Y-A-M-L, which stands for something like yet another markup language. I'm not sure exactly what it stands for, but don't worry about that too much. This is the YAML, so if anybody refers to that, that's what they're talking about. And we're set on that now. I want to make this a fairly short video, so I'm just going to leave that there, and then I will give you the next steps.